Yo, 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 yo. What's good, people? What's good, people? It is Jason Gooner back with another EPL season preview show. It's the second annual. Last year we started this thing, and we are back again this year, people. Yes, I will be doing every live stream like this for the whole entire. No, I'm just kidding. Big up yourselves, people. Jason Guna back in the studio. You know what time it is, people. They start to break down the EPL season. Look at all the transfers. Look at all everything, and see what go on, people. We are back for another EPL season. Big up to each and every one of you. All the people been saying, "Yo, make sure you come back this season with the EPL content." So, of course, you know this is going to be the place to be all season. We do the preview shows, we do the review shows, we pick the teams that we think we're going to win that week, we pick the scores, we document them. Last season, yeah, we have to big up some people. We had a champion, a couple of people share the championship for the most wins over the course of the season, and there was one winner of the dubious title of donkey of the season, right? Because we do a donkey of the week every week for the player who participates that has the worst picks. And of course, we definitely have true supporters here, even winning donkey of the year and coming back again to try to lose that title. We have Duckland in the building, dying with laugh already. Big up yourself, Duckland in the building. Yeah, man, Biggs G, definitely one of the ones that had one of the most wins. I'm not remembering the other person. Hold on, let me have it in the archives here. I'll tell you guys in just a minute. But people, nothing do changing up. We're still on YouTube. So you guys have to do me the respect of liking the content. Please locate the like button wherever you're watching this on your television, on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet. There's a like button on all of those screens. Just locate it, find it, please click it, right? Then, of course, you can share the content as well. If you want other people to get involved in the conversation, other people like the Premier League, like football, they might like the type of content we bring and the way we bring the content. Yes, please invite them to invite them to the channel. All right. Yes, I took off the muzzle because I can't hold that pose for the whole entire time. That's impossible. Yeah, I won't be doing that. Bless up, Jason. I like the Instagram reminders. LOL, I see that way before I see the YouTube. Yeah, there you go. So, to be honest, bro, I'm gonna try different ways to share the content because I know one of the things that's a disadvantage for me personally is I can't really set a certain time every day to do my content. So I just try to do my best to kind of let the people know that I would think would be interested. Let them know that we're going live or we dropped a video or something like that. So yeah, that's why we do it that way. But yeah, glad that worked out for you, Joseph, and big up again for the membership, bro. That really does help the channel. I thought you got co-opted by JFF and you retired the channel. No, I had one, to be honest. I've been doing my work behind the scenes, obviously watching players, watching games, tracking players. But timing has been a little rough. I've been putting in some serious work at my actual job that pays me. So yeah, it's kind of been just the timing. And I've been gearing up for the start of the Premier League because I really enjoy following the Premier League. I play the fantasy. I have 2 drafts today. So yeah, just I had one. I realized that maybe the work that we try to do or we aspire to do is not so wanted. So we just do it in our own time, just for our own personal knowledge. And yeah, when we have the time, though, we definitely will run out with the content because we're getting closer and closer. I had one. We saw the draw date for the girls, so I definitely want to do a draw, either a live reaction or a reaction after the draw for the World Cup women. So yeah, man, look out for that for sure. But life is lifing. That is basically the best way you can put it. Life is lifing. Speaking of lifing people, all you guys know, obviously I'm a family man. I have a wife, 2 children, 2 beautiful daughters. My older daughter, she is very into theater and the arts. So she goes to, a very prominent performing arts high school here in Columbus, where I live. And she's a part of National Honor Society and valedictorian speech when she leave middle school, and just a brilliant child. Definitely takes after her mother. And yeah, she's doing excellent. She's in the 8th grade now, just excelling at everything, youth leader, church, just anything you can think of. She's just doing wonderful. Just a very level-headed young lady. Love her to pieces. My firstborn, Gabrielle. Juliana, she is not so much into the arts, even though she sang in a choir as well, because she has a good singing voice. But she's kind of more, taking the athletic route with her extracurricular. So she, of course, plays football. And she recently tried out for the Georgia Olympic Development Program in Atlanta and got an email that she made the ODP team. So for the 2014 age group, she'll be a part of the Georgia ODP football development team. So I want to big up Julie for that accomplishment. Also, she started middle school, which is 6th grade in the States, and they have a flag football team, which she tried out for. And, obviously it's 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. But she made the first day of tryouts, got asked back to go back. And the second day they tried her at running back. And yeah, she's apparently made the team for flag football as well, playing running back. So yeah, a lot of blessings. School year start back and just getting blessings and blessings every day. So while life is life we have to slow down sometimes and appreciate what's going on in life and not miss things, right? So anytime you see me not on YouTube for any time period, is mainly because life is life and we want to take in life as it goes. We don't want to miss it, right? So we make time for what's important as well. But people, the way I love football, this is so important to me as well. So today we have time, so we are here to do the season preview show, people. So please like, share, and subscribe to the content. We are here, we are back, and we're gonna go through each and every team in the Premier League. What I want to do today is we're going to do a full table prediction for the entire season. FPL, EPL has a app or a thing in there on the website where you can do the table predictor. I'm going to do it in real time so you guys can see my picks for the whole entire season. Obviously, you'll see who I think will finish in the top 4. We don't know based on the coefficient. Maybe top 5 will be enough again. So we think, anywhere from about 7 to 8 teams should feature in Europe from England, depending on how the cup competitions pan out. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that and see who we think is going to at least be in the top half, and obviously who is at threat, in my estimation, of being relegated. And then, of course, I want to go ahead and do a way too early season award. So we're going to pick the player of the season, pick the Golden Boot winner, pick the manager of the season. Obviously, due to the table picks, you'll have an idea of who I think will win the league, finish second, be high up. So that should give you a clue as to who I think will do the season as well. And of course, each year we like to look and try to figure out which manager in the Premier League is at the most risk to be fired. We usually put the marker right around Christmas time, fired by Christmas or around then, that period. So we're going to look at a few managers that, in my estimation, if results don't go their way in the beginning of the season, we could see boards and clubs making a move as far as changing the managers. Yes, so that's how the format of the show is going to go, people. We're going to start out first and foremost before we predict the table for the season. Just looking at the summer transfer windows for all 20 teams in the league. Obviously, paying close attention to the ones that would be deemed title contenders, right? Obviously, we're going to spend more time on those clubs, but I was going to look at it just the raw names of who moved and who hasn't moved, and also take a look at transfer market and see, based on the valuation of these teams, what the EPL table looks like. That's always interesting to see, based on what you think is going to happen with your predictions, how much of the valuation of the team factors into your thinking. Because me personally, I am basing it off, obviously I test what I see of the football and the teams, the managers, the depth. Those are the aspects I'd be looking at. So yeah, we're going to see how close that matches up to what I'm seeing, to what these players are actually worth and what these clubs are actually worth in terms of player valuation and market value. So I think that's going to be an interesting way to look at it and an interesting take to have. Also take a look at who has spent the most and look at the most crucial element of spending in football, that net spend, because some clubs are masterful at it, others are horrible at it. I'm going to pinpoint that as well in the show. So lots of things to get through today as the people tune in. Make sure that you guys are sharing the content. Let people know. If you are brand new to the channel, please consider dropping a subscription on it as well. We greatly appreciate all the support. We're up over the 2,000 mark. So, we want to keep the numbers boosted up. And as much as I can, I will make the content to ensure that we can move the numbers up and get this channel growing and growing and growing, because I do think that we have a nice foundation building right now. So we're going to continue the hard work, and it starts today with the EPL season preview show. Big up to Sherman Scott in the building. One Dan from out of Clarendon. Big up to DJ Gigs. Big up to Nitro as well in the building. Happy that you guys have turned in and turned up. I see some names coming back, and that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, man, the family is blessed. I know you're doing EPL today, but I want to say a lot of our players either MIA, injured, benched, or no club, as far as the last time I checked, and few actually getting regular playing time worrying. So Joseph Brown, I'm going to be totally honest with you. You're right. I'm doing EPL today, but I have been watching and taking note and jotting down notes as well. When I do forward with some content, it will be solely based around the players and the pool of players that we'll be looking towards to get the job done in these 3 windows we have coming up, especially this first September one. Obviously it's the 13th now, so they would have been making correspondence with clubs around this week. So some of the players sad to say there's no correspondence needed to be had with a club because they don't have one. So hopefully, these things can get a little clearer for us. But I think, we're going to have to be a little bit more open-minded as far as our criteria for calling up players, especially in certain areas of the pitch. I know some people won't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, I think we would do well if we don't think too hard about what clubs people playing at. That's just me though. Awesome, big them up. We love to hear this. Big up the Hall girls. You and Mrs. Hall too indeed got to be present, sir. Yeah, man. You have to make sure that you value the right things in life. You know what I mean? Top 4 seems to win or runner up. All right, so I had one say City. No teams, no other color but light blue she's seeing, I'm sure you have Arsenal winning the league, LOL. Well, Demo, hope I know you're a working guy. You're probably at work, but usually you have a device or a few lurking and watching things. Hopefully you can cheat on your other radio programs that you're watching every day and give Jason Gooner TV some time, because I definitely will be letting you know where your club, my club, my father club, Duckland club, where I think all of you going to end up. All right. Bundesliga my thing there, but because you delve deep in the EPL breakdown, I will pay more attention and go wagon this up myself and a team. All right, Joseph. So that is my challenge for you this season, Joseph. No bias. I want you pre the league for about a half a season. You even can, base it off of whatever you want to base it off of. And just pick a one side and carry them. Yeah, man, that's the challenge. Jason throwing shade at Liverpool about net spend. No, Demo. I'm just letting people know the importance. I'm throwing shade. Actually, to be honest, when I was making that comment, I was thinking about my team because we are terrible at selling players. Yo, it's that time again. Yeah, man, you don't know BM. We are back, we are back. Sheridan in the building. Bless up to you and the fam, my brother. Hope all is well. Hope work are too busy. I can take in some EPL discussion today. We're gonna have a nice action-packed show, and I want you guys to get involved because my thing, I like to document things, So when we're going through the table predictor, not saying I'm going to jot down all of your tables from beginning to end, but what I do want to do is some of the regulars that are always tuning up to the show, playing the predictions every week. I want you guys to drop your top 5. We're gonna call it top 5 this year, because we're not sure, right? So we're going to drop top 5 and we're going to drop relegation. And I'm going to document all of your relegation and top 5s. Anybody may see in the comments taking part, I have my pen, my book, right? Here is my EPL book for the season. So everything will go in the trusty book and we document it on the big machine so that nobody can run, right? Yeah, man, I like that. Accountability, people. It's important. Jagarns in the building. Big up yourself, you know. Yeah, man. Respect, bro. All right, respect, Demo. We rate that. We rate that. We know it's a busy thing. And plus, you know, this is recorded material. So anytime you're ready, you go back your 1.5 speed and you take your time, listen. You're not gonna miss a thing. Chipping now link with Roma. Yeah, every day is a new club. Besiktas, Roma. Fenerbahce one time, but boy, I mean, I know. Asensio look like he's going back to Villa now as well. And it looks like Ramsey is linked with a move to Newcastle. So I don't know what Aston Villa's plan is with that wide area. But if they're selling Ramsey and getting Asensio, that makes sense. Because, like, you know, one for the other. But I couldn't see them getting rid of Bailey at this point unless them plan on getting another winger in. Because it's really just Marlon I see on that side, other than Bailey. So I don't know. I don't see why they would sell him at this point unless they have somebody lined up for the wing or for that role. You know, Buendia is back. Maybe the coach see more minutes for him, but I see Buendia playing a little more central. Even though Emery does like the idea of having the wider options play, you know, it's almost like they play three number 10s at times when they go narrow. You know? And he's been kind of leaning towards that more and getting the width from the fullback instead of the winger. BM right now, we may look on it. This weekend is not as busy, so I might do a weekend nighttime show. Yeah, I might do like a Saturday night show or even a Sunday night show because I think the last EPL game this week is on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So usually I do my review show the night of the last game, where I go through and reveal all the prediction results and talk about the games and stuff. So yeah, that game is Monday, Leeds Everton. So either Saturday or Sunday night, I'm going forward with a Reggae Boys mainly show. Yeah. And then the Reggae Girls, once the draw happens, I'll have the groups to talk about. I'll dive deeper into what's going on with them, their players, and everything. Usually, the female season is a couple of weeks behind the men. So I think this week I'll focus on the startup of the Championship and Turkish League and, you know, all the various leagues around the world that the Reggae Boys play. Yeah, so sometime this weekend, BM, more than likely. Very concerned about the form. Yeah, for sure. And the World Cup is right around the corner. That's a fact. Rob said, last question about Reggae Boys. Was Damian Lowe injured, a long-term injury? Because I don't see him back in Oakwood. Well, you know, I was actually doing a search on the Saudi Pro League yesterday, and it was interesting to me that the first games, like when you search for the league, the games are not up yet, like the actual schedule for this season coming up. And the only thing I see listed is they have a game on the 21st of September against Al Raed. So I'm wondering, like, when does their preseason really even start up? But apart, I thought that Lowe was already like back on grass and everything, you know. Are you basing it on the fact that you don't see him like posting that he's back? Or you see like the club posting stuff and you know Damien is not back? Ooh. Yeah, man, no, brother. I'm not sure, but I from what I had heard, yeah, I don't think he is back, but as far as I know, his injury is not wouldn't be the reason, as far as I know. Would Eze be a good acquisition for Arsenal if he prefers to play the number 10 role? What does that say in regards Odegaard, Dauman, and even Waneri to some extent? Strings, that's a great question. And I'll just answer it real quickly like this. When the news of Eze came, my first initial response to Arsenal fans was, last season I heard a lot of Arsenal fans upset with Arteta that when Odegaard was out injured, he refused to really just put Waneri in that role, right? And it wasn't until Saka really got injured that we saw Waneri play more regularly off the right. So my question to them was, if you guys were upset last season that Odegaard, was out and wasn't replaced by Waneri, now that Odegaard is back and fit, you guys want Eze to come as well, presumably to play the 10, right? Because at the time they were saying Eze and Rodrigo, and this window is actually a good window. And I was saying, well, we'll have to make up in our mind, because if Eze comes in and you're going to play him where Odegaard plays, basically, you're taking more minutes away from Waneri, who you were cussing last season, not getting enough minutes. So I was like, you guys need to really think about what you're saying. So at the time, I was saying, listen, Eze might not be a left winger, but in the way we play in our system, I wouldn't mind to have a player like him on the left as opposed to just a speedster that just want to go past players all the time. Because one thing that Arsenal has is time of possession most of the time against most teams, and territory as well. So if you have the territorial advantage, you have less space in behind. So you need different skill sets to break down those teams. They're more static, they're more close to their goal. There's not that space in behind to run into. And that's why sometimes in our setup, Trossard might be a little more effective than Martinelli, at least more output than Martinelli, because he's more prone to picking the lock a different way besides using speed. And that's why I think if they were gonna get Eze, predominantly I would be playing him where Martinelli and Trossard usually play, because he's gonna play Odegaard. He's like very important to how Arteta play, how him set up the team, everything. And the thing that maybe people worry about is if Eze plays that wide role, there's a lot of work that Martinelli puts in defensively to make the setup work, because the left back is not in position. He's in the middle of the park playing midfield. So that's very important, that work rate of that player. And I think that's what saves Martinelli when his goal output, his assist output is not there. He always get the game because of how the coach wants to play, and him know Martinelli will put in the hard yards to get back there, Yeah, he's not posting anything like he's back yet. Bless up Odello, Wagwan. Hope all is well, bro. Jermaine in the building, big up yourself. Yeah, man. Is there any scenario in which Eze stays at Palace? Yeah, I think there's a scenario where he stays if Palace gets offers that they don't deem to be, what they want for the player. That could happen, So, yeah, I think there's a scenario that he does stay, especially since, like, I think Glasner has said, we can't lose everybody. I mean, obviously, Mateta is the one linchpin that's there that you haven't really heard much about him leaving. But Gay, and Eze has pretty much been talked about the whole time. It sounds like Liverpool is pretty close now to making that one official with Gay. Of course, Tottenham entered the race for Eze. We have been after Eze as well. But at the same time, he did mention that if he had his way, which obviously he can't get his way all the time, it's more than likely what the club wants to do. He wouldn't sell both of them, but he would understand if one of them got sold. Now, Palace was linked with a few attacking midfielders earlier in the window that since has cooled. And I have always been of the mind that until I see Palace actively looking for a replacement type of player in that type of area of the pitch, it was kind of unlikely for them to sell him. And especially in that every club involved, from what I can see, is talking about a down payment and paying off the rest next year. Maybe Palace would be more likely to do it if somebody came with the actual money up front. But I haven't seen any offers like that yet. Me want Eze. Yeah, I want Eze as well, because I think if Eze comes in the team right now, even though he's not a left winger, he would be the best option on that side that we have. And I don't think there's a world where Eze can't play over Odegaard on a random day. I just know that Arteta sees Odegaard as an undroppable player. Arteta not dropping there. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. Bless up, bless up, bless up all Chelsea fans. All right, Chelsea in the building and put him flag. Jason Curlew in the building, big up yourself, says Eze would not work out for Arsenal. Arteta seems to not favor rotation, and Eze will want guarantees of game time. Well, Jason, that's the thing. Eze is used to playing for a club like Crystal Palace, where if you're a talent the level of Eze and you're on that team, if you can walk out of the tunnel, you're going to start. Now, as your career evolves and you rise to new levels, surely you would understand, Jason, that the next step up would be to a team where you really should be fighting for your place. The only thing that I don't like about Arsenal is, and this is the year where we'll really see if Arteta has learned anything from his previous seasons. Arsenal's one thing we're going to talk about today when I talk about Arsenal is their depth now. And to me, depth only means something if the coach is willing to use it. And so, we saw instances last year, especially towards the end of the year, where we are out of the title in the EPL, and this man is literally playing everyone to try to guarantee getting second place. And in the end, who really cares? If the top 5 go to the Champions League, why do you care if you finish second or third or fourth or clearly he covets the second place thing. And you saw PSG bench everybody in the league. Yes, they had won it already. Yes, they didn't have anything to play for, but did we really have anything to play for? I mean, 5th place couldn't really catch us necessarily at the time. And if we drop to 4th or even 5th, who cares? But anyway, we will find out. We're going to find out because he has a squad now. I think in every position he can get to a game with the player off the bench, the second option. So let's see if he uses his brain and plays the damn players. Manners and respect. Yeah, man. Respect to each and every one. Arteta plays touchline wingers and not inside forward. Stay at Palace, is it? Yeah, so that's the thing, right, Jason? Is it that he would bring him and have him play? Because I've heard people saying against certain opposition, if he comes, he can just play the left 8. You play a holding 6, and you're playing against Burnley at home. Playing Eze and Odegaard as your two, your two flanking midfielders beside a Norgard or Zubimendi, whichever one plays that day. Why couldn't that work? And I agree. You could play that left 8 position that Declan Rice plays, when we want to go more attacking in that game. I hope he stays at Palace. Big fish, smaller pond. He needs to stay. Palace is clicking. Yeah, look, I think he has a good manager there. I think he has good pieces that can threaten any team. When you're talking about Mateta Sarr, and when you add him to that 3, it's any team, if they don't come with their A game, they definitely will be in a dogfight with them for sure. And Oliver Glasner is a good coach, so he implemented his system. He has the players for it. Mitchell thriving in the left wing back role. Same with Munoz on the right. So yeah, they have a good team. Grass isn't always green. I kind of like my thinking Whisper should have gone to Newcastle. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020, but at the time we were saying, boy, is Chelsea the right thing because they're stockpiling so much youth attacking talent, How can you get through all of those people? Bless up Hot Chili in the building. Yeah, man, we're there, bro. Another season. City looking good. City looking good. You think you should be happier this year, Hot Chili. Eze can stay one more year with Palace. A player like Eze is just levels. Yeah, man. Eze a big baller, man. All right, people. So 30 minutes in, we have had some pleasantries, had some discussions, a few questions, but it's time to get down to business now, people. So let me get on screen first and foremost the transfers for the year. So let me get this up and going now, people. All right. People, make sure you guys are smashing the like button. I see almost 20 of you are here live. We greatly appreciate the eyes on the content. Definitely let the people know, share it around, and let them know that we are live, All right, people. So this is the Premier League signings and release and loans for the season so far. So from A to Z in the Premier League. So Arsenal, obviously a long list of sales, and I'm going to point out which of these actually made funding in a minute. We're just going to go through and show you guys the names for now. Let me just get my screen looking. Okay, yeah, this screen will work just fine. All right, so here we have Arsenal's list. Sheldon says, should we buy Eze for 60 mil to play certain games? Let's make it make sense. Get us a winger and bench Martinelli. Yeah, I feel like we have the coverage where we would be playing Eze in the system we play. Now, if he was to tweak the system and play with more inside forwards from time to time, then he could just be another option to have, you know. Chelsea has better benefits. Even if you don't make a team, other teams will want you because you're from Chelsea youth program. Name brand. Okay. So they'll say the likelihood that you move somewhere just from the pedigree of playing in that academy is a bigger draw than maybe getting the opportunity on the stage itself. Well, that's a debate to be had. That's a debate to be had. All right, so Jorginho gone to Flamengo. We saw him at the Club World Cup playing for Flamengo. Nathan, one of the ones that couldn't quite break through to the first team from the academy. Would see him named on benches over the years, but never quite broke through all the way. He headed off to Lausanne. Then we have another youth player released, Kieran Tierney, out of contract, went to Celtics. So I'm playing against Richard King already this season in the first game. Raheem Sterling gone back to Chelsea, but I don't even know if Chelsea will have him listed as a player because I don't know where he is. Raheem Sterling just gone off the boil of late. Neto gone back to Bournemouth, just loaned him, barely even got a chance. Can't even remember a game he played last year. Nuno Tavares transferred out to Lazio, and Marquinhos as well, heading back to Brazil. That was a failed project. Never quite came to fruition. Marquinhos, a couple loan spells back to his country and other places in Europe, never quite hit the ball. Never quite got where we thought he might get. And Tomiyasu sadly had to get released as well, just too many injuries. So mutual consent, both parties thinking it's the best thing. So they released Tomiyasu. Very promising talent, but could not stay fit at all. Kepa Arrizabalaga brought in from Chelsea, as well as Noni Madueke. We are becoming the feeder club. Chelsea. Actually, I don't even call it a feeder because it's really the players that they deem surplus to requirements that we seem to buy. Honestly, these two though, I'm not going to be so down on. I know a lot of people worried about the fee for Madueke. I think it was 42 million or something like that pounds. But yeah, I think it's a 15 to 20 million pound England international tax in the Premier League, especially. So I kind of factor that in to the whole money. But the one thing that really pissed people off was when we were going to buy Gyökeres, who is over the line now. We were haggling over a couple million here, a couple million there. It just seemed like that Chelsea deal came from nowhere, and we just slapped the money on the table and we had him. So it just didn't make sense, the priority that was made of Madueke at the time. Of course, it lessened the blow now that we did get Gyökeres over the line from Sporting in the end. But I think the fact that now we've gone through preseason and people still are thinking that the left wing is a bit short. We've seen in the preseason where Madueke is actually playing left wing. That's where we see him playing. He comes on the park, he comes on for the starting left wing and he plays on the left. So this whole time, people been saying, okay, that's good cover for Saka. And they were kind of upset that we spent that money for cover for Saka. Maybe Arteta, is showing you what his future, he sees him maybe being the starting left winger for this team. That's maybe what he's trying to show you right there. But to me, Gyökeres is going to get all the acclaim, and rightly so. I think he's going to do well this season, score goals. I just feel like we create enough for that area of the park that he's going to create goals, and get goals created for him. And I think also his overall work rate, the way we press teams, I think that he's going to add another dimension, the likes of him and Odegaard in their pressing style. I think it's going to cause problems. He's going to get a few goals just from the press that we're going to employ this season. So Gyökeres for sure could definitely give him the signing. But for me, people, when we look at the future and we look at what this team will become, I believe that to really hit that next level and control the football game, that midfield is where we need to really become incredible. We have the defensive statistics at least. I still feel like at times we leave our defenders too exposed, and we just rely on them too much to be incredible at defending. But that midfield area, I think we're going to see less of that this season because Martin Zubimendi has been added to the midfield core. Now, Norgard is the one that's bought for depth, and I really think he's a good buy because he just is somebody that you know is going to give you that 7 out of 10. You know, obviously he's not spectacular, not world class, but you know, mistake-free player, hard worker, keeps his head down, technically sound as well. You know, a lot of those Brentford players are not flashy, but they're all very technical, right? And I think he's one of those players as well. Surprised by his technicality already in the preseason. Again, not going to set the world alight or anything, but I think he's a good, steady person to have in the wings there when Zubimendi need his break and his rest. But Zubimendi, people, I'm telling you, this guy can really, really play. The thing that really surprised me about Zubimendi, I knew obviously he's Spanish, so he's going to be technical, going to have passing range. The thing that surprised me, people, is his defensive range, how he covers the ground, how he closes down situations that look like it's going to be a problem, and then you see him chase somebody down and get a toe on it to stop the counter or something. Like, that's what really, really and truly I noticed with him this season that I wasn't expecting, because I was thinking that, he's just, when you look at him physically, he's not that big of a presence, as like a Partey or a Rodri and some of the players in that position would be. I liken him more to a Vitinha style in terms of, obviously Vitinha is not going to, bulldoze anybody, but just the way he covers the ground, the way he reads the game, and he's not shy about getting a foot in and getting stuck in as well, to win the ball. I think you're going to see those qualities from Zubimendi as well. So I expect a lot from Zubimendi this season. I think he's going to be one of the key signings when you look back at this season. Big outlay for him, 70 million euros, I think it was. But I'm telling you, people, he gets my vote just based off of what I've seen in the preseason. I'm telling you. Sterling's loan was over from last season. Don't it? I tell you. Do you think Black 14 will get above or below 20 goals? I think 20 is the magic number, Strings. I could see him hitting close to 20 for sure, like 17, 18, 19, something like that. And I'm not gonna say 20 is like he didn't have a good season if he didn't hit 20. But look, I would say he has about a 50% chance. Yeah, I would say it's about 50-50, but I think over 15 is a definite, personally. I can't see him hitting less than 15 goals in the PL alone, Rumored Sterling might be going to Fulham. Interesting. It's kind of cool off the whole Reece Nelson to Fulham stuff, and the latest news out of Arsenal is that the player really backs himself to find playing time on the left or even on the right in this team, and he considers himself the best left winger in the squad currently. So I don't know. We did give him a nice pay raise the last time he got a contract, so maybe he's just saying, listen, I'm in no rush to leave here and have to deal with maybe different kind of wages or something. Arsenal, like Man City, became predictable last season. City recruit Pep Linders as coach who worked with Klopp at Pool. Yep, his assistant, very, very brilliant coach. Expect them to tweak their system. Yeah, Pep is the tweaker, so even though his principles stay the same, it has looked a little different. He went with the flying fullbacks at one point, and he went with the inverted fullbacks at one point, and he went with the 4 center backs in defense at one point, and he went with the no striker at all, just 6 midfielders at one point. So yeah, he's always reinventing what he's doing. I think he's still trying to find the perfect system to accommodate Haaland. I think that's really the magic last part of his tweaking, is like, how can I really not only get the best out of Haaland, because we're seeing Haaland have incredible goal scoring for City already, but I think it's like the entire team, how they function as a team, to have him be spectacular and get his numbers and them still to be able to dominate games. Because I think that's the one thing that kind of went away. We kind of put it down to Rodri not being there, which is a big part of it. But I think even the style that they were employing, it just kind of lent itself to them getting put under pressure from time to time. And I don't think they have the defensive bodies, like say Arsenal, in terms of, playing a certain way that might expose your back line. I don't think they can really take so much exposing and not get scored on. Why did Marquinhos not click? Style, chemistry. I think with him it was confidence, because you can see he's technical, talented. But I don't think he was confident. Whenever he got his chance, he just didn't look like he was gonna grab it. Madueke might just be that pleasant surprise. Yeah, look, the thing with Madueke that is a plus for me personally is I'm not expecting nothing like great. I think he's a good player. I think there's a good player there, but I do think that he has a lot of developing. I think he still is developing as a player. His decision making needs a lot of work. I wouldn't say he's totally one-footed, but he doesn't have much confidence in his right foot. So everything kind of tilts that way. So if you really study and analyze him, it's gonna be easier to stop him on that left side, because the way he wants to go, he has finite space. There's a line there. That's basically another defender. So it's going to be interesting how he frees himself up on that wing. He's going to have to, I think whoever is playing when he plays on that side is going to have to really combine with him, whether it's the left midfielder or the left back. You need a proper left winger though. Yeah, it would be nice. I think we do as well. Realize lots of players around the leagues are rejecting moves to Saudi league because they are trying to get a call up for a World Cup national team. So they're trying to play in competitive leagues. Well, I guess Kingsley Coman don't care anymore. Darwin Núñez don't care anymore, I guess, about that. I'm still getting players over there just the same. Norgard also good from set pieces, yes. And we are set piece FC. I heard he picked up another knock, and could be out until like the middle of September or something like that. I did read that. I think they might be going back in the market for a midfielder. Looks like Hutchinson is stuck at Ipswich. Yeah, they might play hardball, brother. Them not sell him. Is Martinelli ineffective, or does Saka just get more support? Arsenal play overlapping right backs but inverted left backs, so the support is different. Yeah, Strings, that's a good point. I think the thing that Arteta has done tactically, which I hate, is the left-sided CM, who is Rice, usually is the one that goes and combines. But I can't stand to see Declan Rice down by the left corner flag. Like, what is he gonna do over there? He should only be there when he's taking a corner. That's not. I don't want him. I want him. Getting into the box late. So that is something that needs to be addressed. But when you look at the personnel, we really don't have a left back that I think would thrive doing that. I think Calafiori is more of an inverted type of player. I think Lewis Skelly, coming from a midfield background, is the same thing. So unless he coaches that into them, they don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? I think the league defenders understand now how to defend against Haaland. Okay, that's a good valid point, Jagarns. Look, I still think that the rate of his scoring goals hasn't really changed much. He just had more injuries last year, if anything, when you really analyze it. But I get what you're saying as well. This kid as well, Christian Mosquera. Obviously, I don't think we'll see the full potential of what he can do until a few seasons, maybe. But I'm telling you, in his cameos, he has looked really sharp, really fast, very good ball control, awareness, speed. A little bit of slender frame, but you can see he has that wiry strength as well. Don't really get bounced off the ball. So yeah, I like the look of Mosquera. Looks versatile as well. Seen him play right back, right centre back, and left centre back so far. Even though he's right-footed dominant, he does not look to be afraid to use the left foot. So yeah, he could be one that I know is for the future, but of course, injuries happen in football, so you never know. I'm interested to see if an injury to either Saliba or Gabriel happens, in the mind of Arteta, who does he see as that third centre-back? Because right now we have Kivior still. It looks like he's liking Calafiori more as a left-back. So yeah, Kivior has been linked with a lot of clubs to move out. I'm wondering if Mosquera's presence there is causing him to think maybe we're cashing on Kivior now and just work with Mosquera as that next option. Of course, we have players that are versatile. Ben White can play centre back. What's his name? Calafiori can play centre back. Timber even can play centre back. So it's not like we're short of numbers of people who could fill in. But you want to have the specialist players. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I think Arsenal fans want incomings, but I think a sale has to happen. Vieira, probably can get a maybe 10 to 15 mil. Trossard, they're hoping to get about 25 to 30. I'm hearing Kivior wanted by the Serie A clubs, but they're so broke. So Arsenal want 25 to 30, even 35, I've heard. The Serie A clubs probably want 15 to 20 to be the deal. So let's see what Arsenal decides. But that is the Arsenal outgoings and ins. Here is Aston Villa. Oscan was on loan last season. He's back. Think they're probably going to either loan him or sell him, though. But let's see what they do with him. Olsen had been the backup for a few years. He left. Went to Sweden from Malmo. Feeney was loan. Rico Richards, Courtney House release. Marcus Rashford, his loan ended. He's ended up at Barcelona on loan out there. So we're going to look and see how he does. Definitely want to do well to get into the England team. Marco Asensio heavily linked with a move back to Aston Villa today. Looks like they have actually agreed on a 3-year deal, I think. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but looks like Asensio will be coming back to the club. Disasi went back to Chelsea. He's on the chopping block over there. Hesla Hayden transferred out. He went to Coventry. They got Redmond from Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. Coutinho, crazy, was still there. Transferred finally to Vasco da Gama. Other players loaned out, some young players. They got Marco Bizzo in from Brest. He had a good run in the Champions League with them last season. So that is basically some I guess you could say some insurance. Obviously they lost Olsen, so they have a more experienced player that could maybe take over. Emi Martinez all throughout this window has been linked with a move away, but it looks like Aston Villa might be able to keep him in the team. He has been playing all the games of late, so hopefully they can keep him for their sake. Obviously, he's one of the key players. Enzo loaned out to Benfica. Saw him playing yesterday in the Champions League. Looked good, but they do have quite a good midfield right now, so maybe the best move for him to keep his value up, to loan him out. They brought Cisse in from Lask, and they also brought Evan Gassand in. Had a good season at Nice in the French league last year. That also is probably some insurance, as well as Ali Watkins, their striker, has been linked to the move away. Of course, Duran is gone permanently now, obviously gone from last season. So they have Daniel Marlin probably as this backup striker, but also have Marlin as a right flank player as well. So they could do with some more attacking options for sure. And then AFC Bournemouth now, they have literally had an exodus of all their great players that had them, fighting and clawing their way close to the European places. But Dean Howson gone to Real Madrid, right? Not Zabarni, the other centre back, gone to Paris Saint-Germain. The goalkeeper last season transferred out. He ended his loan, went to Chelsea, now at Arsenal. So that's that's basically the goalkeeper and the starting centre backs right there. Then of course, as well as that, they have also sold Milos Curtis to Liverpool. That's their starting left back. So literally everybody's gone from the defense. They were able to keep a few other attacking players that I thought could be getting a move out. Tavernier being one, Clivert being another, and of course Antoine Semenyo, one of those players that a lot of English league fans and definitely fantasy fans know the name of. Just somebody that when you look at all the metrics, shots, dribbles, take on, successful, he's always in the top 5, top 10 of all those stats. Very, very good player. So that's pretty much what's going on at Bournemouth. Just a max exodus now. They did bring in Truefair, and I remember this player from Rennes. He was the left back for Thierry Henry in the Olympics. Decent player. Still should be early 20s to mid 20s still. So yeah, we're gonna see how he looks in that left back role. I think that's basically a like for like with Kirkes there. And they did bring in Georgia Petrovic to start in goal, more than likely. Just recently as well, bought a centre back. They really probably need another one to come in. but they did buy one, and that is Bafo de Diakite. He did well last season for Lille, playing in the Champions League and in Ligue 1. So he will look to hit the ground running, they will hope, because he probably will have to start right away, because they do lack the numbers in defense right now. But that is AFC Bournemouth. Let's see if their coach, think I rate him pretty much. Let's see if he can work some more magic this season. Now Brentford, they will be under the tutelage of a new manager, as Thomas Frank has gone to London, well, stayed in London, but moved to North London with Tottenham Hotspur. Now Brentford, their manager Keith Andrews comes over, the Irish manager. He basically is kind of getting his start out, really. Yeah, I think this is his first, top flight job. If I'm not, if am I right in saying that? I think it is. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, how he comes over now and handles this Brentford job. But I mean, that can't be his first job. So yeah, he's only been an assistant manager in his career, and he was a technical coach with them starting last year. But he signs a 3-year contract with Brentford to be the actual manager. So it's going to be interesting how he handles his first season in top flight football as the man in charge. Ben Mee released out a contract. Coyote came in from Fiorentina. Donovan from Birmingham City. The big transfer in for goalkeeper, of course, Flecken was on the move out to Bayer Leverkusen. Very good season for Flecken last year. So Kelleher comes in, finally gets his number one chance. Widely regarded as the best backup in the league for definitely last year and maybe the last few years. So he moves over to Brentford to see what he can do in a starting role. Melambo came over from the Eredivisie from Feyenoord. Jordan Henderson was kind of a surprise transfer in from Ajax. Weren't really expecting him to come back to England. We've seen Tuchel pick him in some teams of late. So, maybe that could be a good move for him for his World Cup dreams. Then we have Pierre from Aston Villa came over, and a lot of loans out. Of course, the big losses: Brian Mbeumo gone to Manchester United, Norgard gone to Arsenal. 3 big players flecking out. Kelleher comes in, so that lessens the blow a little bit there. But yeah, really, when you look at the transfers in, I am not seeing an Mbeumo type replacement, right? Now, it's widely rumored as well that Wissa could be on his way out the door. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult for Brentford to get everything that they need, because I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot going on. New manager. They have punched above their weight for quite a few years now. I'm wondering, does that finally catch up with them this year? But we'll get to the table predictor in just a minute. Brighton and Hove, their thing. Find gems, buy them on the cheap, and sell them at premium money. And they continue to do so this season, transferring out João Pedro for big money, got a decent sum for Valentin Barco as well. Simon Adingra, I think, went for 20 odd million as well to Sunderland. So, they do this all the time. AC Milan spent a nice fee for Pervis Estupinian. So that's what they do, people. And what did they do? They transferred in some names that you probably don't know. But I guarantee you see them playing and you say, yo, where did they find these people? Tommy Watson from Sunderland, Yun Du Young coming over from Korea. Then we have Castulas coming from Olympiacos, the Greek international. Diego Capella coming from Verona, and Niels Ramin coming from Eintracht Frankfurt. Boscagli as well coming over from PSV. The Kuiper from Club Bruges, good young player. And then Keo and Kofi Shaw, some more project type signings, but they are very good at those people, so don't take those lightly. They did loan out Evan Ferguson, seems to be surplus requirements. I guess the coach does not really see him as one for the future. Kozia Dewberry, ex-Arsenal youth, is loaned out to Bolton for the season. Good player, good talent, but gonna see if he can actually break through to the highest level. We'll have to see. All right, so that is Brighton's story. Burnley promoted back into the league after dropping down. Um, Burnley, of course, a team that was previously managed by Vincent Company, who has since moved on to go and manage Bayern Munich. Burnley now under the tutelage of one Scott Parker, who has experience coaching in the league. Maybe not the greatest and fondest of memories, but I think a coach that is very serviceable, looks to try to play football the right way. Um, no nonsense type of manager as well. I've heard stories about his trainings and his fines for being late and things of that nature. So, yeah, if you're gonna play for this guy, you better really keep the professionalism going. Him take the thing very serious. So Bashir Humphreys, we've seen him coming to the Chelsea youth system. He finally gets his move. He was on loan there last season, did well, and they signed him. Actually, all three of these four signings you see here, besides Marcus Edwards, all were on loan last season at Burnley, and the club decided to make those moves permanent. So Edwards, coming over from Sporting, a player that some Jamaica fans would have been talking about, as we learned that he did have some ties to the country by heritage. A couple of years ago, he was playing remarkably for Sporting. I remember one Champions League season, especially, he was really doing his thing. But last season, he did come over. Um, he did come over on loan. So actually, all four of those players were on loan. I just know that the other three had a season loan. He had the January to now loan, and they made his move permanent as well. So yeah, they basically have four signings coming, but all four kind of bedding with the team because they were a part of that run towards the end of the season that got them automatic promotion. They did fall short of winning the title, but they did get the automatic promotion, finishing second in the championship. So Nathan Redman released, John Joe Shelby, Jeremy Sarmiento gone back to Brighton on loan, CJ Egan Riley out of contract. He went to Marseille in France, another one that can play for England, Ireland, and Jamaica. Max Weiss came in from Karlsruhe, Hartman from Feyenoord, Axel Twanzebe came over from Ipswich. So his team dropped down to the championship. He stays in the Premier League, moving over to Burnley. Chauna coming over from Lazio, the young midfielder. Then we have Kyle Walker, Man City. That was a bit of a shocking one, but think it's a good move for him. Go to a club where maybe he can teach some new professionals how it's done to be a proper professional. Still get his game time somewhere where he'll be truly valued and stuff. So yeah, man, good move for him. I think you could tell that he wasn't really up to that high level anymore based on some of his performances last season and even towards the end of the year before. And Brun Larson came in from Stuttgart as well. Burnley did transfer out their starting goalkeeper back to his former club, Man City. That's James Trafford. Masengo did move out as well, going to Augsburg. They did pick up Ugo Chukwu from Chelsea. Another example of Chelsea selling crazy. Got a good fee for him as well. This player barely played. Martin Dubravka, he comes over from Newcastle. That's actually an underrated signing to me because Dubravka is just the type of guy, doesn't really have to start, but whenever Newcastle, Eddie Pope has his injury problems, it's like they don't miss a beat when Dubravka is playing. So good experienced keeper they can bring in and just throw in there and know he's going to do a decent job. Then they did take a chance on Armando Broja. This player cannot stay fit, so I don't know how he keeps getting bought and loaned and going places, but he's a good player, just can't stay fit. All right, now Chelsea people. These men spend a lot of money, but they sell players and they make money too. So you have to be looking at that as well. So now we have Chelsea's team. So this list probably going to go down about 5 page. All right, so Esugo came in, good player, young player, but where will he ever play? I don't know. But he's a very good player. I like the kid. Humphreys, we just talked about. Liam Delap came in. Looking like when he came in, damn, I can maybe start because Jackson no good. Now at the end of the window, he's probably thinking to himself, I should have just went to Newcastle or just anywhere else because I don't think Liam Delap is going to play as much as he probably thought when he was coming in. Now, the good thing maybe for him is that it's really just João Pedro. And João Pedro, we know, is kind of versatile, can play off the striker or the main striker. I think for Chelsea, he will play the main striker. So Delap should be maybe the second option there. They did loan out Giu. I think Nkuku is gonna be gone. He's the other one I've seen play up there, and I think Jackson, they're hoping they can sell. I think the price tag is going to scare off everybody. But if they're willing to sell him for less than what they have said they would, then maybe a club will take a chance on Jackson. I think Jackson still has use. I just wonder if Chelsea might not be the place for him at this point. You know, Mamadou Sarr come back. Jeez and peas. That's a player that my boy the name Pochettino didn't know he had him. I think that's the same guy. I think that's him. This is a different Sarr. Bettinelli gone, Kepa gone to Arsenal. João Pedro came in. Jamie Gittins, one that nobody really talking about, but I guess maybe because it was after the Club World Cup, he would have got bought. But yeah, he's definitely one that they got rid of Madueke and basically said we're gonna bring in this guy as that live wire player that can take on people. Look good for Borussia Dortmund in patches. Just need to see how consistent he can be, but definitely a big talent for sure. Some more outs, Petrovic, they got good money for. Madueke, they got real good money for. Caleb Wiley, gone back on loan again. He was at Strasbourg, now loaned out to Watford this time. João Felix, good money for him to go to El Nasser. Samuel Smith went to Strasbourg on permanent. Another one that could potentially represent Yard. Kendry Paez, loan to Strasbourg. That's like the sister club. So everybody that they buy, they loan over there. Castelline, played with Whisper a lot in the U21. They loan him out to Huddersfield to get some top flight experience. Derek came in from Crystal Palace as a project. Hato came over from Ajax, and Estevao came over from Palmeiras. Now, Estevao people think it's going to be one of those signings that maybe the Club World Cup shed a little more light on him, but I don't know how many fans were really super in tune with it. I think this kid has the potential to be like one of the best players, actually. This kid looks really, really, really good. The thing that I really like about him is he seems to be able to play at different speeds. So a lot of times, the younger players that have pace like him, them just want to play at 1,000 miles an hour. I don't really see that trait in him, and I think that's going to hold him in good stead because, Chelsea have a much more methodical approach. At one point, their transition counter with Jackson was looking kind of deadly, but I think one thing Maresca has done is kind of calm that down a bit. And even though the transition still looks deadly, they do have a way of methodically moving the ball up the field as well. And I think Estevao will fit into that because he seems to be, for such an exciting, skillful type player, somebody who really does value ball retention. And I think that's kind of needed in this team because, there's times when I think Chelsea, when they fall in love too much with the transition game, it kind of shows it exposes their flaws in defense. And I think that's what Maresca has tried to do, is maybe control the game just a little bit more so that those situations don't arise as frequently, So I think Estevao is going to be a good pickup for them, to be honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if 3-4 years time he's in the convo for best players out there, seriously, because he just looks really, really good talent wise. And he's going into a team where I feel like they will welcome his addition. Yes, he'll have to fight for his place every day because there's a lot of talent there. But I feel like he's one of those players that will break through it. And, as long as he can stay healthy, which, I don't think he has any history of being injured a lot or anything, I think it's going to be a good signing for Chelsea, to be honest. I hate to say it, but I think Estevao is going to be a damn good signing. All right, so I know I've missed quite a few in the comment section, but I just want to get through quickly some of these. Crystal Palace, we know the big news obviously is who they're going to keep at this point. So Gay, rumored to be gone, is a rumor to be gone. To me, that's going to be very, very interesting to see, and that will tell me seriously who I think, where they're going to finish, because I rate Oliver Glasner, but if you take away all the damn players, he can't work a miracle, So, I mean, he can work some miracles, but I don't know if he can work what they would want him to work this season. Just two came in. Benitez from PSV, terrible goalkeeper if you ask me. But Borna Sosa transferred in, decent left back, coming in from Ajax Croatian International. So that's the ins, and the outs are more important, honestly. So far, you don't see any big names out, but Gehi looking likely to be gone, and Eze looking likely as well to be gone. So that's two big misses for them. I think Ismail Assar and Mateta will have to hold it down if that does happen. And the defense, I think Richards and my boy, the name, the French guy, man, my name I slip me right now, but yeah, those two can hold it down. They're just gonna need to find a third center back to go with them if they do happen to lose Gahey, which I think looks very likely. Now, Everton, they have made some moves this year, people. They have made some moves. Lost a lot of players due to out of contract. Ashley Young gone. I saw him playing for Ipswich in the EFL Cup. Begovic out of contract, he's gone. Virginia gone. Decore looks like he's headed over to Neom in the Saudi League. Um, Jack Harrison loan ended. All these loans ended. Alcaraz came in on a permanent from Flamengo. He looked good last season under David Moyes, and even before, he was one of the few bright sparks under the previous manager before that. So he's a good transfer, I think. Holgate, of course, out of contract, so he left. Mope as well. Barry came in from Villarreal. Mark Travers came over from Bournemouth. Underrated. Decent little goalkeeper. Whenever I saw him play, looks to be decent. But of course, Pickford is the man over there. Asnu, very good pickup from Bayern Munich. I think a club of this size, like Everton, well, I shouldn't even say size because they're a big club, but a club with maybe the finances that they have. I think these clubs like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, the bigger, really top clubs, you should go and try to find those 19, 18, 20-year-olds that have had first team experience, even if they haven't played a lot yet. Those are the type of players I think you should go after because they have very good sale on value, and you won't have to have the big outlay. Like, yes, it's a chance because maybe it don't work out, but I think those are the chances you have to take. So I like this signing of Asnu for them. Dewsbury Hall as well. I think that's a great signing. I never thought he would be able to cut through at Chelsea, but I do think he's a good player. So I think this is the type of team I think where he can really thrive. And then Jack Grealish, of course, coming in on loan. Let's see, can they get the Aston Villa Jack Grealish? Can they get the Aston Villa Jack Grealish? Because NDI, solid player. Add Grealish to the mix, give him some more help to be more attacking. You got McNeil over there as well. He can do his damage. And Beto, look, Moyes got a tune out of Beto at the end of the season. So, yeah, let's see. Everton, finished off the year not too badly. Once they were out of the relegation zone, I think they kind of took the foot off the gas. But for a spell, they were one of the hottest teams in the league in that last part of the season. Definitely one of the hardest teams to beat. Weren't really turning those that better form into winning. They were drawing a lot of games, but coming from where they were coming from, it was like a miracle by Moyes. So yeah, Everton, didn't really lose that much in the way of outgoings. The core is a big loss, based on what he had done over the time he was there. But I do think that they have done well in the season to bring in players. Dewsbury Hall can play that Decore role very well. So yeah, I think they did decent for what they could do. Now Fulham, they have lost a few players. Players that were kind of on the fringes. Willian was kind of towards the end there. They have only brought in one player, Lecomte, and they did get some players backing off alone. That's about it. But yeah, it is Fulham pretty much holding course with what they have. They've been linked to a lot of attacking players, especially wingers, but nothing over the line for them as yet. Just the Montpellier Lecomte signing. That's it. Leeds United, they came up winning the championship last year. They got the Mecha from Wolfsburg. His brother is the one that mainly features for Germany, but he's also a good player. Another player from Wolfsburg came in, Borno. Then they have Biol coming over from Udinese. Goodmanson from Lille. Marcus Longstaff, Stach, Perry come from Lyon, the goalkeeper. So yeah, they got quite a few players in. Usually you see this on clubs that make the step up. Saw Gellard playing EFL Cup, he was loaned out. and Mateo Joseph, the young striker, as well. He was loaned to RCD Mallorca. Kind of surprised by that. He had a decent little season last year and he was one for the future, but maybe they just want to make sure that he gets, enough opportunities in the first team. Always about making sure you keep the value as high as possible. But yeah, lost some players that have been around. Firpo out of contract. Manor Solomon looked to be a decent player for them on loan, but they did not make that one permanent. He went back to his parent club. But yeah, that is what they have going on. They did make some signings. Will it be enough for them to not be the yo-yo club that they have been the last few times? Let's see when we get to the table predictor, which is coming up right after we get through this. Mardas Feely came in, more backup for Allison just in case. He has been getting a few injuries here and there, and they did lose Keller, so I think that was a smart move there to have him waiting in the wings. Then we have Jeremy Frimpong transferred in from Leverkusen, replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold. Florian Wirtz, not replacing anyone, just adding to the mix. Looks like he's going to play a more central role. He was playing in midfield in the Community Shield the other day and looked very silky in there. Kirkes coming in, basically a replacement for Andy Robertson, who is still at the club, but it looks like Kirkes will be the starter going forward, at least if you use the Community Shield as evidence. Hugo Ekitike, currently the main man up front, but could change if they get their wish and get Newcastle to sell them Alexander Isak. But Ekitike looked silky as well in the Community Shield, scored a nice goal. They did end up losing that game in penalties, but Ekitike did look decent on the day. Then, of course, they hijacked Will Wright from Arsenal, from Salford. Youngster who was scoring a bag of goals in League Two, one for the future, of course. Now, as far as outgoings, of course, we spoke about Kelleher earlier. Alexander Arnold with the big money move. Well, not even big money, but with the move to Real Madrid on a free. Kwanzaa got decent money for him to go to Leverkusen very early in his career, so they did decent there. Good outlay as well on Luis Diaz. Tyler Morton transferred to Lyon permanent. Thought they might have loaned him again, but yeah, they transferred him out of there. And then Darwin Núñez as well, getting another 60 bags from Al Hilal. So they did pretty well. We're going to check the last thing before we get into the actual table predictor setup. We're going to look at the money spent by each team, Now, Man City, they also had quite a bit of movement and did their business early in time for the Club World Cup. So 8 Nori, we saw him at the Club World Cup. Shirky as well, Reinders as well. Bettinelli gotten, basically they're getting him for depth in the goalkeeping department. Then we have Naipan, sought after young prodigy, another one, looks to be Odegaard 2.0. He was snapped up by Man City after everybody wanted him. Madrid, Arsenal. Arsenal were deemed the favorites for a long time, and then in the last minute, Naipan chose Manchester City. They got back Trafford, who was there before, transferred him back in. They loaned out Reyes, who they got. Basically, he's not quite ready. Simpson Puzzi, who got some time with all the injuries last year, he's loaned out to Celtic. He also can play for Jamaica. Maximo Perrone transferred out to Como. Mubama is at Stoke. Saw him playing with Lewis Baker the other day. And they did transfer out Kyle Walker, Keiki as well, young right back, and then Scott Carson finally released, so he won't get any more trophies for his troubles as third string. Kevin De Bruyne, the big one, transferred out to Napoli. So Manchester United, they have also done a lot of business in this transfer window. Leon, player they got last season, finally came over. Youngster, I think he's 18 years of age, plays left back. Then we have our left wing back. Then we have Mateus Cunha. First move they made in the summer, right away from Wolves. Brian Mbeumo came in next, and then the big one. Well, they're all big, but Benjamin Sesko, the big one in terms of the money. Sesko came in from RB Leipzig for a whopping 85 million, I think it was, euros. So those are the three signings. Now, some will say, yes, incredible window. I think attacking-wise, can't complain there. Looks great on paper. Three very, very good players. Players that I actually would want all three could actually play at my club. I would be happy if we got all three of these players this summer. I'd be like, that's good business. But the Sesko one, I understand. I think it was a more of a statement by Arsenal in terms of Sesko probably fits the mold of Arsenal more. He's younger, so sell-on value is higher. You know, the business proposition and the business mindset that Arsenal usually have. Sesko would be the signing every summer before this. But they said, listen, we're just going to look at the raw data. This brother scores too many goals. I don't care what league it is. I don't even business with that. He's gonna score goals for us because we're gonna create for him. So they went for the older player, probably not the highest sell on. Well, definitely not the highest sell on. Values in 5 years, Sesko's will be higher, no doubt about it. Even right now, his is probably higher. But they just went for the gunman, the bagsman. Sesko ain't a predator type of player. He's gonna link play, he's gonna score goals, yes. Probably has a better shooting range. But is that what Arsenal really needed right now? Arsenal just needed a brother that's going to put the ball in the goal any means necessary. And I don't know if Sesko could develop into that, but he hasn't really shown that characteristic as far as I have seen. So, yeah, I think that's why they kind of went that direction. Now, Manchester United, for how the coach plays, maybe this forward fits better. But the thing that's amazing to me is the manager that managed Gyökeres is now at Man United. And Gyökeres seemed to work just fine in that man system. So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, United attacking, great job. But they have a midfield, they have a defense. Have not improved that, I think. So and the goalkeeper as well. Now they are linked still to Baleba. I don't know how monetarily they'll be able to do it. Because I think they want about 90 million for the guy or even 100. And I still feel like they're light in defense. I think they could use a few more centre backs. You know, they have they have Maguire, they have Euro. Martinez, can you really count on him at this point? He seems to be on the injured table all the time. Luke Shaw looks to be converted maybe to a little more left centre back of the three role. I'm not sure. And they still have my boy from Morocco, and Dallo. But I don't know, man. Is that enough? Would you be happy with those centre back options? That's where I think they need help. And also in midfield. They need legs in midfield as well, So they went top heavy. Has been a problem for them scoring goals. So I understand why. But I think they could have balanced it a bit better and get a bit more area shored up as well. But the window still open. So let's see what they do. All right, so Newcastle, the club that nobody wants to go to, but somehow they got Cordero and Alanga to come. And Sung Soo Park, Ramsdale came over on loan, which was a weird one for me because they have Pope. I didn't realize at the time that they had transferred Dubravka though, so now it makes more sense. Of course, Isaac Hayden out of contract, so he's gone. And the only real signing that they have made, the two big signings you would say is Elanga, which was a big, good signing from Nottingham Forest. Surprised that Nottingham Forest sold him actually. And then Malik Thiaw came in over from AC Milan. Still a good age on him. Very athletic player. Really played well last season for AC Milan. Kind of broke through for the most part. Always was kind of a squadish type of player. Still would get his chances, but I think last season really solidified himself as a starter. So yeah, interested to see how he fits in with the other Newcastle defenders. Of course, they have Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Lascelles, who is always injured, and Sven Batman as well, who is always injured. So probably wanted to get a bit more cover where that is concerned. Lloyd Kelly gone permanently to Juve. Sean Longstaff, who said earlier, gone to Leeds. But that is Newcastle. Still a lot to be done. They were after Wissa at one point. They were after, oh my boy, the name. It was rumored that they were going to maybe bid for Nicholas Jackson at one point. It was rumored that Gordon might be on the way out as well. They've already, don't have Callum Wilson anymore. His contract gone. So yeah, it's a lot of questions right now for the Newcastle faithful. I mean, the one thing that you can say is they have a rotted midfield, and if they can convince Isak to stay, I mean, with the likes of Elanga, Isak, and Gordon potentially, or a Harvey Barnes, that's a scary, scary, scary three. So, Isak holds the key to everything about Newcastle this season. It's gonna, it's kind of like doing this table predictor thing is rough because it depends. It depends on what happens with Newcastle. All right, moving on to Nottingham Forest. Marianakis had one foot out the door. Gibbs White going to Spurs. Somehow we got him to sign the extension, and he's still there. But a lot of player movement from Nottingham Forest, and this is pretty much every season. Elanga, they got a nice chunk of change for him. But they did bring in Igor Jesus, Yaya, Jair Cunha from Botafogo, Dan Endoy. That to me is probably one of the more underrated signings for the season. I think Dan Endoy is very, very good. I think he's going to be very, very surprisingly good for them this season. A lot of people kind of think that Nottingham Forest might have been a bit of a flash in the pan. I think Marianakis is kind of showing in his transfer dealings and, how he played hardball with Gibbs White not leaving, that, he doesn't see this as a flash in the pan. He's trying to, build a formidable European challenging team, year in, year out. Did they do enough this offseason to make that the case? That remains to be seen, but I do like some of the additions. I think Igor Jesus is a chance you take, very good player in the Brazilian league, rave reviews out of that league and from all the people over there. But how will it translate? But I think Dan and Doy, to me, is going to be the one that, when they look back at this summer window, that they say, yes, that was a very good buy for us, and it's almost like a like for like with Elanga. And I think Dan and Doy, when you talk about technicality, when you talk about just clinical finishing, obviously Elanga is probably the fastest player in the world or close to it. He's up there, but Dan and Doy ain't no slow person either. He's definitely, if you're looking at his strong attributes, speed is one of them. But I think he might have even more to his game technically than Elanga. So should work out well. Him and Hudson-Odoi already on the wings, Gibbs White and Chris Wood more central. That's gonna cause problems. Sunderland, they are up again. A club that, growing up I always would see in the league. Had a little bit of time down there in the championship, but they are back now, Sunderland. They brought in quite a few players as well, looking to stay up there. Enzo Lefe, a very good pickup. The Frenchman from Roma, he comes over. Habib Diarra in the midfield, he comes over from Strasbourg. Then we have Sadiki, another midfielder coming over. Renildo, who was at Atletico Madrid, he came over on a free. Versatile, fullback, wingback type player. Talibi from Club Bruges, Simona Dingra from Brighton came over. Then Granit Xhaka came over from Leverkusen, wanted to be back in the Prem, so he's back with Sunderland. Rolfs came over from the Netherlands. Then we have the loan of Chelsea's Giu Masuaku from Besiktas back in the Premier League this year, and Alderete came over from Getafe. So yeah, that is a lot of ins, and they did transfer a few out. Of course, they got a nice money for Joe Bellingham. He went to Dortmund to follow in his brother's footsteps. But mainly they just bolstered their squad and some decent names, some Premier League experience in Masuaku and Granit Xhaka. Anna Dingra, young, exciting player to bring in, good European pedigree with Reinildo. And of course, Giu coming over from Chelsea. The hope is that he has a breakout goal scoring year for Sunderland. All right, now moving on to Spurs. They have gotten rid of their manager who brought them the Europa League. They have brought in Thomas Frank from Brentford. As you can see, they had some outgoings, permanently now Hoiberg at Marseille. Werner went back to Leipzig after his loan. They released Reguilon, Fraser Forster, Alfie Whiteman, Ajayi on loan, Faye on loan, Mikey Morgan to Rangers, Tyrese Hall on loan to League Two, Notts County. So quite a few young players getting the loan to get some first team minutes. Son Heung-min, the legend over there, gone to LAFC after getting a trophy with them finally. They have loaned in Paulinho, who never quite did what he was supposed to do at Bayern Munich. So going to be interesting to see how he does with Spurs after having a really good spell with Fulham. Then we have Kudus coming in, did not do what he was supposed to do at West Ham either. in terms of goal scoring output and everything. But the hope is that in a Spurs team that a little bit better attacking team, even though they finished down in the league, I want to say they still had a positive goal difference because they do score a lot of goals. So Mohamed Kudus, let's see what he does. I think Thomas Frank will look at Kudus and say, okay, you are my Mbeumo for this team. So can you be as prolific as Mbeumo for Spurs? That is what the fans of Spurs would be hoping for. Matisse Tel permanently now from Bayern Munich. Kevin Danso permanent as well. They were both on loan last year. Takai came over from Japan, and Max McFadden came over from Leeds. They are looking at a few players right now. Savinho heavily linked. As a conversation now starting as well. Madison out for probably the season. Did his knee in preseason, so they'll probably need reinforcements in that midfield. Then West Ham, they have had a lot of a mass exodus. Basically, a lot of these players been there a while. Cresswell, Fabianski, Soufal, Danny Ings, not quite as long, but they're all gone. Todibo was made permanent, which is surprising. It must have been a buy obligation because they could not have bought him based on how he played last year. He was very, very underwhelming last year. Todibo was not what I expected. I thought he would do better. So they brought in Malik Diouf, exciting player from Slavia Prague. Kyle Walker-Peters comes over from Southampton. Figured he would get to stay in the league after his performances last season for Southampton. They did bring in Callum Wilson as well. And of course, Mikel Antonio, leading goal scorer at the club, was offered a contract based on reports, but did not like the terms and decided against signing it. So he is now a free agent, looking to see what his next move will be. Apparently, he has offers on the table, and we'll just wait and see what he decides to do. But time is a ticking, Mikhail. We'd love to see you pick one of those options, Mads Hermansen transferred in from Leicester. Good goalkeeper. He will be fighting for that #1 spot with Alphonse Areola, who I don't think has, nailed down that place ever since he's been at West Ham. Wolves, they had a lot of players leave as well. Some of the better players, sadly for them. Carlos Forbes looking good already. Saw him playing some games. He looks good. Ryan Aït-Nouri came over from Man City. Went to Man City. Sorry, Cunha went to Manchester United. So they went to Manchester. Al-Arabi took Paulo Sarabia. He was out of contract. So Hugo Bueno is back from loan. Fer Lopez came in from Celta Vigo. Jurgen Strand Larsen was finally made permanent. It was a loan with an obligation, so that's done. John Arias, really their big signing that they brought in from Fluminense on the back of a very good Club World Cup and just some good overall performances for his club and also for the Colombian national team. John Arias should be a decent player coming in to link up with Strand Larsen and the rest of their players. But yeah, they lost a lot of the names that you would have seen over the years. Semedo, Cunha, Aït-Nouri, Gonzalo Guedes as well, all gone. So you'll see quite a different looking Wolves team. I do like their manager though. I think he did come in and really just turn things around. I mean, I've never really seen the same personnel in defense have such a difference of how they defend. Like it was night and day once he came in. Just the application and what they were able to do, not give up so many goals. It is like it just changed right away. So yeah, people, that's pretty much the entire league. Who move from where to where. Before we move into anything else, people, I want to pull up the Premier League, just the entire Premier League itself, and I want to show you guys the rankings of the teams based on the market value of each team, right? And just see how close to what the table is going to look like it might predict, right? Because this is really one of the major metrics people analyze is like, how much is a team worth? What is the value of the players? So I want to show you guys, because I looked at it earlier, And I just say it was quite interesting. So this right here going into the season, currently, who they have on their squads right now. Man City and Arsenal actually have the same market value at 1.32 billion, right? Chelsea actually third with 1.17 billion, and the fourth team with over a billion is Liverpool at 1.04 billion. So, that is my top four actually, that I'm gonna have in my predictor. Not that order, but that literally is what I think the top four will be. Now the fifth highest valued team is Manchester United at 892. Then we move into Tottenham 832, Newcastle just below 700 at 689, and these are euros, people. Brighton actually higher than I thought Brighton would be, but that's an example of how well they buy. So they buy players for little to no value, and then by the time they play a season or two for Brighton, their value goes up, 200, 300%, So Brighton and Hove at 593, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the eighth highest value team. Then we have ninth Aston Villa, 10th Crystal Palace, 11th Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth at 12th, and that's just over 400 million. Then we have Brentford 13th, 14th West Ham, 15th Everton, 16th Fulham, 17th Wolves, and surprise people, 18th, 19th, and 20th are the three teams that have been promoted from the championship this season. So that is quite interesting there. All right. So what we want to do now is just highlight a few clubs because I think it's quite interesting. So let me start with Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, people, when you look at Liverpool's transfers for the season, right? It tells you right here they are down 97.38 million based on what they have done. So they have made 9 sales and earned 196 million euros, and they have bought 14 players and spent 293 million. So these are the arrivals, and you see it ranked by fee. So they put 125 on the board for Verts, 80 for Ekitike, 47 for Kirkes, 40 for Frimpong. So 87 on the two fullbacks. And then, of course, they had the free transfers and the loan players who would have come back. But then the sales now, they got a nice fee for Luis Diaz, 28 years of age. They got 70 mil for him, right? Darwin Núñez, after flopping, still got 53 for him. So they lost a bit on that sale itself, but getting 53 for Núñez after what he's done is great work, I think. 35 for Kwanzaa, who is really unproven, to be honest. Looks like he should do well. He looks to have all the ingredients, but you never know. Then you have Keller, I think 14.8 was a steal, for starting goalkeeper. That's not bad. 10 million they were able to get for Trent. Obviously, that has a lot to do with, time and contract and things of that nature. And Tyler Morton, they got 10 mil for him as well. Not bad for a player, with very few first team appearances for Liverpool. And they were able to sell Nat Phillips for 3.5. So that is Liverpool, not bad. Little less than 100 spent when you look at the outlay compared to the income. Then the next club we'll look at is Chelsea. So Chelsea, as you can see, always sounding like the club that is spending the most. But when you look at the net spend, it's about 50 million less than Liverpool. And this is one of the things why I think they can stay afloat, because they definitely high risk with how they do things, but they somehow get very close to that balance book at the end of it. As you can see, they've sold 16 players, made 232 million basically, and spent about 280 mil. So they bought Pedro, they bought Gittins, they bought Hato, they bought Dilap, they bought Estival, Esugo, Sar, and Kendry Paez, right? Now, they're still after Xavi Simons, they're still after Garnacho, so there should be more outlays. But Renato Vega, yet to be sold. He's there to be sold. And Kunku is there to be sold. These are all the players they've sold so far. a goalkeeper, well, two goalkeepers, some youngsters, Humphreys, Amugo, and they're doing deals with Strasbourg, inflating the price. I don't know how that's possible. Broja, 23 mil. They still got almost 30 mil for Dewsbury Hall. Ugo Chukwu barely play football in his life, and the man gone for almost 30. Petrovic almost 30 as well. Um, and I just showed you Keller was bought for 14. So that should show you, like, Chelsea does sell, bro. 30 mil to Al Nasser, and they got 56 out of Arsenal for Madueke. So they are the selling geniuses, people, and that's why their net spend can look like that. Now, the net spend idiots is Arsenal, and look at that. So we have already outlaid 216 mil this season, this off season, and that's net spend, right? So we spent 224 and we've only earned 8 million in sales, people. We sell one baller for 5 mil and another one for 3 mil. Now, all the rumors I'm hearing is Fabio Vieira, my boy named Jacob Kivior, Reece Nelson. Those are the names, and Trossard potentially. So, I think that I heard Arteta say we'll probably have about 2 to 250 to spend, right? And we're already at about 216 when you're counting the income. So the only way I see us getting a left winger and Eze is if we sell at least 3 baller before the window done. And I don't even think the outlay or the income will be enough once we sell those 3 ballers. So yeah, I'm not sure unless we get creative and find a club that's willing to take our little down payment or whatever we want to do. I don't know, people. We might have to live with what's going on here. Now, Man City, they have a net spend of negative 143. But they have made 8 sales for about 33 mil. The biggest ones being Koto at right back going to Dortmund for 20, and Peroni going to Como for 13. And these are players that they have just bought, stockpiled, and loaned, and they're getting money off them now. They do that better than them, and Chelsea, I think, do that really well for the most part. But Chelsea is like a cheat code with that stuff, man. But Reinders, 8 Nori, Sherky, Trafford, decent, all over 30 mil. Spent the most on Reinders. I think Reinders is a really underrated baller, actually. I think because the Syria maybe is not, I don't know, like it's just fans of the clubs in Syria really follow the league anymore. But I try to watch everything, so I've been watching him a lot. Of course, I'm a Dutch fan as well, so I like to keep up with the Dutch national players. Them very, very good player, bro. Very good player. Man United, what has their net spend look like? So they have beaten everybody, minus 229 right now. And they're going after Baliba again. But they've had 3 purchases of over 70 million euros. So they are not joking around. And as you can see, they haven't made a dollar. They have not made a dollar. Tottenham, the man always say leave, you don't spend no money. But they're at negative 110 right now. So they spent a bit. Have earned 35 in sales. I think that sale would have been from Sun and Hoiberg, right? And they have made a big outlay of 60 odd million, 64 million for Kudus, 35 and 25 and 11, and about 6 for the others. So Tottenham fans probably want a little bit more in terms of spending. What's another club? Aston Villa. That would be a nice one to look at. So Aston Villa people. Aston Villa. The current transfer. So they've only had a net spend of negative 30 million. And they have only really bought Gasson. That's it. Everything else has been loan business. The 7 mil. Yeah, they finally spent to the club there for Oscan. And then as far as sales, only Kessler Hayden sold to Coventry for 4 mil. Everything else has been loans. So yeah, not much action for Aston Villa. But the promoted teams are always ones to see, like how much did they actually spend. So negative 90. Wow. So Burnley, them get their money for getting up and them spend it, brother. But quite a few players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jaden Anthony. He was there on loan, but they did spend almost 9.5 mil euros. As you can see, the Jamaican flag there as an option. Then we have the sales. So they had a big sale at Trafford, which kind of funded a lot of the business. But I would be surprised if they go back into the market about 90 mil net spend negative. That's probably what they can do. Sunderland, let's see if they. So they're at minus 110. So they have done a little bit more business. Made two nice sales at about 40 odd mil for the two sales. And they used the money that they would have got for getting promoted and from those sales to drop this 153 mil. And they have bought a few players, 4 players over 20, all their purchases over 10 mil. So they have looked around, done pretty well for themselves. Alderete, the Paraguayan, could be a steal coming from Getafe. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look. And Leeds, let's see which one of the promoted teams spend the most. So Leeds has actually net spend the least. They are negative 79, 85 million in expenditures, only 6 million income. Bless me. So yeah, Leeds look like them are depend on them squad, Interesting to see how much Bournemouth earn because the man them make some rotted sales. Watch it. Plus 109, people. Damn. Plus 109 people. And them are make money. Them should have in this right here, them should have the net spend table. I don't know why them not have that. Or maybe them have that here. Detail. No, that's something else. Yeah, people. So I just thought this was interesting when you look at the value and the table. How similar to the actual table I'm going to make is this gonna look. That's gonna be interesting to note, people. So I'm gonna keep this up. I'm gonna reference it when I'm done with the table. Now, we go back to the table, people. Make sure now like, share, subscribe the video. Now, this is where I get more interactive now, people, because I want you all to drop your top 5s and your 3 relegated teams. Top 5 and 3 relegated teams. That's what I would like to see. All right, people. So we're going to play the table predictor in real time. Yeah, bro. We don't sell a soul. We don't sell a soul. Big up Coffee Tea in the building. Big up each and every one of you who has tuned in while I was going through my talk about all the transfers and everything. But now we can start to check back in with you guys. What I want to do now is why I'm not signed in. All right, cool. All right, so now we're gonna play the predictor, people. We're gonna do it in real time. Who knows? I might win. All right, so let me start right down the people. Nitro. Sure, Demo will have a say. We max it. I see in the building. Big up yourself. We max it. In the building. All right, so we're going to say top 5 first. And then we're going to say relegated first. After. So yeah, man, go and drop it. And we will document it. See? So Nitro say Pool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle. Wow. Red Skull in the building. Big up yourself, my G. Oh, go on. Well, Red Skull, we knew that Arsenal was going to be there first. You said City second, Liverpool third, Chelsea fourth, and Everton. Wow. So Red Skull, you would not be Red Skull without a mad selection. So we knew that was coming. But sometimes you're the mad genius, you know, not gonna lie. I had one droppers. All right, you know, I have to big up the females every time. So I had one says City will take it. We knew that was coming. Arsenal second. So quite a few live. Wow. Chelsea third. It will be Palace if Eze stays, or Forest, and Liverpool fifth. Wow. All right, so we're going to put CP/NF. I know we understand why that is, so we'll look back later. All right, Joseph. Joseph say who? See my 5 and Liverpool. So finally, another Liverpool. City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and for the first time, Tottenham make an appearance. All right, Jaguars. Yeah, man, keep them forwarding people. I'm going to try jot down the whole of them. And then in a little while, we'll ask for the relegation when I think. So Jaguars has the Gunners up top. Liverpool. City. So who is going to be the first fan of a club to not put their team at the top? Let's see. Let's see. All right. So CC looks to be the first one that has not put his club at the top. So he's working with his analytics. He's not using his heart. So Liverpool 1. Arsenal 2 for the record of seconds. Chelsea 3. City 4. And United 5th. Wow. So United make an appearance for the first time. Now, Drew Ross says that the attacking prowess will take them to the title. So he has United first. Liverpool, as he puts it, second. Man Shitey third. And he did not give me a 5th, but he has Arsenal 4th. Demo says Liverpool, of course. Chelsea, 2nd place. Arsenal, 3rd. City, and Tottenham. And he has given me his relegation, as he might be gone. So he has gone for the 3 promoted teams, Sunderland, Leeds, and Burnley. So he's not taking any chances. Big up. Chinese sound good, you know. I think I'm going to have that for lunch too. Subject to change in September. Yeah, we might have to do a post-transfer revisit for real, you know. I might give people a chance for real. Bless up, Eddie. Jaguars give me this relegation. So we have Leeds, Sunderland, and Burnley as well. And I'm going to put a Brentford in the brackets, because I say maybe them too. Bigs G in the building, Wagwan. One of the better predictors last season. Him said Liverpool will take it. City second. So finally not Arsenal. Chelsea third. Arsenal fourth. Wait, what? Okay, so it must be Man U fifth. Let me see it right. City twice. Eras in the building. Respect, bro, for tuning in. Yeah, man, let them know what to do. Yeah, man, let them know what to do. Yeah, man, we figure it out, Big G. Based on Palace performance, should they get an automatic pass to European Championship? Huh. Boy, them do Palace dirty, brother. Relegated Brentford, Bournemouth, Leeds. Wow, so Joseph, the first one for the relegated bunch not to have just 3, promoted teams. So Eddie Gooner has dropped his table prediction. He has City winning the league. So that's a Gooner fan not going with Arsenal to win. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham Hotspur. Wow. CC said Burnley, Sunderland, and Wolves. Oh, this is going to be nice to look at when the season done and see who mad. Spurs 5 with a new coach, new system. Okay, so looks like Drew is not quite. I think he's saying maybe Spurs, but I'm not certain. I guess him can't really come to a full, Nick in the building, big up yourself, cuz. What go on? We're there, We're there, cuz. We're there. Another season, getting ready. What? So I'm not sure if this is reverse psychology or what this is, but the biggest Liverpool fan is saying that City is going to take back the title this year. So I guess he's not loving the how the team is looking right now, and he has gone for City. Wow. So Eddie Guna said the yo-yo is in full effect. So Leeds, Sunderland, Burnley. Biggs G said Brentford, Sunderland, Burnley. Quite a few Brentfords so far. Brentford, Palace, and Wolves skull. Damn. So all 3 of the promoted staying up. I'll go see. Don't worry, man. The whole I want to put on a thing. Oh, you don't see them coming 5th. Okay. So give me a sign that you see coming 5th. Are you're really trying to figure it out in your brain, like who could actually come 5th? Let me know. Cause I just 4 you give me in a Drew. Come have United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal. All right, Father Warren say, yo, I make you know what I go on. So Father Warren say, Chelsea to the title, Liverpool second, City third, Tottenham fourth, and Arsenal 5th. Sound like a real Spurs fan. Brentford, Burnley, Sunderland. So why? Brentford, people just don't see how Brentford going to survive because them lose everyone, and them coach. I want to say I actually agree with a lot of them, Brentford has lost goals to United and Wolves have lost goals to United. Cunha was Wolves' main goal threat. Yeah, I think Larson will be okay. I think Arias will do good as well. I don't think. I think Wolves will be better off than Brentford, I think. So yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, the window's still going on. So yeah, man, I got. Oh, you had a correction. All right, Biggs G. Let me make sure. Make sure I have it right. So Biggs G, I have you as Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, United. I think I have it. Okay, so Jura said Chelsea as the fifth team after United take the title. Brentford sold too many of their players and didn't bring any worth talking about. Plus, they lost Frank, who was a top coach. They'll be in a relegation battle early out. Bournemouth too. Red Scholar did with laugh. Yeah. All right, cool. So the only person when I write down, I'm gonna see nothing for is we max it. Everybody else must see something down on the paper. And some of you never give me relegation, like Nitro, I had one, and Juras and Warren Webster. Yeah. Ball pre in the building. Don't know, Liverpool fan, but just a football fan. Don't think him is one of the most biased fans. So let's see. Liverpool to win the title has Arsenal as the closest contender, with City third, Chelsea fourth, and Spurs fifth. Relegated Burnley, Leeds, Sunderland. So he went through the entire table. We like that. So him have Man U 6th, Forest 7th, Villa 8th, Brighton 9th, Brentford 10th, Bournemouth 11th, Palace 12th, Fulham 13th, Everton 14th, West Ham 15th, Wolves 16th, and then I think you left out somebody then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man U 6, Forest 7, Villa 8, Brighton 9, Brentford 10, Bournemouth 11, Palace 12, Fulham 13, Everton 14, West Ham 15, Wolves 16. You have 19 teams. But I'm assuming you want Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland to get relegated. You don't have Nottingham Forest anywhere. You miss out Nottingham Forest ball pre. But I'm going to assume that is Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland is going down. Lunchtime here, big up. Let the battles begin. Showtime first weekend. Yeah, man, that is it. Nottingham Forest not there. Oh, sorry. You have Forest after Man U, so it's not them. Damn. Must look at that and tell me who is missing. Yeah, me just see them now. Pre. It's definitely 19 though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, it's 19. Who is not there? Who is not there? Who is not there? Damn. Good catch. Good catch. Good catch. Newcastle is not there. Newcastle is not there. So that make your top 7, 8 different, I'm sure. So yeah, man, drop Newcastle somewhere in that ball pre. It's important. Well, the most important is them not in the top 5, unless you take out Tottenham and put Newcastle there. Yeah, man, me there try find it. All right, people. So we're going to do this in real time, people. This is gonna be my actual submission. Okay, continue. How many points will the champion get? Rated people. How many points do you think the champion going to get this year? Blow. All right, so 38 game. I think the winner will probably lose about 2, 3 game. Maybe draw about 4 or 5. So about 31 wins. That's about 93. And then 31, and that would leave 7 game. Probably draw about 4 of them, lose 3. So kind of like 97, 90. That's a bit much though. Maybe four losses. Four losses. All right, so 30 wins and 90. All right, so I'm going to say 28 wins, that are 84. Seven draws. All right, so I'm gonna say 91 points. I'm gonna say 91 points. 91 wins the league, you know? 91 wins the damn league. I am over 13 years of age. Yes. All right. No. What? My predictions have been recorded. But me not predict nothing yet. Hold on there. So all the man them just pick my damn table. I may never pick the table yet. Already blur. People, you see that? I never pick nothing yet. Bro, I want to change my predictions, bro. Brother, I don't want Liverpool to finish this up. What kind of foolishness this? Brother, so when we continue and I pick the title winner, them just leave it as, no. So I'm going to change it, brother. I can't change it. Rules. Will I need an account, but you're not eligible to win? When can I see my points? You must enter your predictions in order to be eligible. So why I can't blur need any attempt to obtain multiple entries? I don't want another entry. I just want to fix the entry that's on the thief. I didn't even pick a damn team. I didn't pick it. So is there any way to change it? It only give me the option to share it, people. What a foolishness. Well, all right. Bro, I literally wanted to. What about if I sign out? Oh man, that's terrible, bro. So you mean to tell me that I can't even like just do it as a joke? Brother, you see that foolishness, sir? Play now. Okay. But because it's me, it will say dismiss. Your predictions have been recorded. Well, people, that's not how it's gonna go. So let me just write it down here, man. Alright, so me I will start from 20 and go up. I think that will be easier. But I know I now win the prize because it does in alphabetical order and that it now go done so. Alright, so people, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that the cellar dwellers this year will be one of the promoted clubs. And when I take a look and I analyze what clubs have done, one club that I've been kind of brother, I don't want to log into view, I want to do it again. Yo, fuck this. Give up. Alright, so where is it? Alright. Yeah. So let me go back to what I was looking at before. people, please do smash the like button. We're coming up to the end. We're gonna do the season award predictors right after we get through my Premier League lists. All right, so this is 1 to 20. Gooner TV's Premier League listing. All right. Let's see. All right, so like I was saying, for me, I do like some of the moves that Sunderland made, especially. I think when you look at like the areas of the pitch that they improved, I think those are like the most important areas that you need to improve when you're going into a season in the top flight. So they got a centre back, right? Established La Liga centre back. They got a central midfielder, established Premier League quality, Granit Xhaka, right? They got a central midfielder, more attacking. Doesn't have the Premier League quality, but has quality. Enzo Lefebvre. Habib Diarra, some legs, young legs in that midfield. So a lot of their signings, I actually think will help them a lot. Then in attack, they went and got Simone Adingra, another player that we know can cause damage in the league. They picked up a couple of wild card players, Giu and Semedo up front. Young players, you don't really know exactly what you're going to get, but they have them there. And they do have the striker as well from the Ukraine that came over from Hajduk Split. He was over there on loan. He's back in the team. So yeah, up front is where you can look and say, boy, do they have a goal scorer that can score enough goals? But I think they've done enough with the spine of their team that makes me think that they will find that requisite quality that you need to kind of find from somewhere if you're going to stay in the Premier League, right? So I just have a feeling that Sunderland going to find a way to stay up. Now, Burnley, for me, they're the ones that I worry for, right? Because Burnley, we've seen Scott Parker in the league before. Yes, they got some quality experience in the form of Walker, but what does Walker have left in the tank for them, right? That's something to look at. A lot of the players that basically got them here is who they went back for. But let's see. I definitely think that this club will have their struggles. I like the Dubravka move as a good, solid goalkeeper to have. But I think if I'm looking right, oddly enough, the two automatically promoted teams are the ones that I would, personally have closer to the relegation. I just have a feeling like Sunderland gonna just find results, like random results here and there. Leeds, it depends. They have players that looked really good at the championship level, but some of those same players didn't really cut it in the Premier League before. Now, a little more experience, couple years on, maybe they do. But one thing that I do like that they did was get Lucas Perry in from Lyon, because I've never been a believer in Ilan Meslier as a number one keeper in the Prem. So yeah, I think that was a good move for them. But I think that they are also going to fall just short when it comes down to just the squad itself and the actual quality that they have. Like they have some decent players, don't get me wrong, but this is the Premier League we're talking about. So I don't know if having decent players is quite enough. So for me, the team that's gonna be in the last spot this season, I'm gonna go for Burnley, finishing 20th. Burnley finishing 20th. I'm going to go for Leeds actually to finish 19th. And I think this is where maybe some of you might not agree with me. Some of you might not agree with me, but I'm going to say, right, that this coming season, there will be a club that stays up from the championship. And that club for me is going to be Sunderland. So I think it will be, barely. I think Sunderland, I have them finishing 17th this year. But the club that I see going down to 18th position this season, and it's kind of been foreshadowed a bit by a lot of you guys with the relegation picks. But I actually agree with you guys. I do think that, sad to say, Brentford is that team that I see that's been perennially in this league that I see dropping down to the championship. Wolves also would be one to maybe look at. Some would argue, to a lesser extent, maybe the likes of a Fulham. You're not sure what West Ham will give you either at times. But for me, I think Brentford is just gonna prove that too much change came too fast for them. And I think the final straw was losing the coach. I just think he's been the one that's been able to kind of have them, pretty much comfortable in the league and not relegated over these years. Plus, having some very good players that can keep you up as well. But I think he has been a key to it, and with him gone, I think that steadiness will go as well. And their manager is quite inexperienced; he's never been through it. So, yeah, that's why I think Brentford is going to struggle, and I think I could see them actually falling all the way down to the verge of relegation. I think my hope is that this year it is actually a relegation battle, and it's not so obvious as the season goes on. But we'll see how early we know what team's going down. But that would be my relegated right now. Brentford 18th, Leeds 19th, and Burnley in 20th. Sunderland, I think, will be in 17th. Then working my way up the table, I do think that Wolves as well has lost quite a bit. I think they'll be just safe enough. So I'm going to say Wolves ends up in 16th on my table. Moving into 15th now. Man United spot from last year. I have to get that in. Look, I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pick a team that maybe people might not agree with at this spot. But I think that while they always retool and everything, I think this might be the first year where we see some of the effects of the mass exodus, and that's going to be Brighton. I think Brighton actually will be a little bit further down the table this year. I could kind of see stuff creeping in on the defensive end, especially, and I think they will be one of the leakier teams this year. Their goalkeeper, I don't know what happened with him last season. He started to make these errors, and he never really stopped throughout the season. Hopefully he can get that squared away because seems to be the coach's favorite for the Netherlands. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one I might be way off on, but I just have a feeling like Brighton gonna have their struggles this year. So I'll put them down in 15th. The next team that I think could have some issues this season is actually Fulham. I think Fulham should have kicked on a bit, made a few signings. They have been very, very calm in the window. Again, this can change, but I think they should have been making some moves. I mean, they seem quite content with just staying and avoiding relegation every year. Every now and again, they look like they might give a push for the top 10 or even a European place, but they never quite sustain it over the season. So Fulham, for me, maybe a little lower than some folks would have them, but I have them down in 14th. Maybe those two are a bit of a surprise, Fulham and Brighton there. But I have them 14th and 15th. Then the next team that I'll have, I think about 13th place is going to be West Ham. Look, I had West Ham being my surprise team to get in and around the top 6 last year. I was woefully wrong with that. Maybe that quite kind of factors into this now, but I just think they're going to be just short in terms of help for Jared Bowen up front, especially. And I think the goalkeeper situation is not really the best either. So I just think West Ham will be around there somewhere, safe enough, but not really challenging Europe at all. So 13th, I think, is a nice landing spot for them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to flip those two teams. So I'm going to put West Ham actually in 14th and put Fulham actually in 13th. I think that makes a little more sense to me. All right. Then I'm going to go with, let's see. I'm going to go with Bournemouth in 12th. I think it's just going to be too much chop and change in the defensive area for them to handle. So I think they'll drop off a little bit this year, not too far, because I do like the manager. I think he can keep them in and around it. I'm gonna go with Crystal Palace next. Now, I'm basing this on the team currently, right? Um, and to be honest, even if they were to lose Gahey, let's say, I think they could still potentially end up around here somewhere. I just feel like they know the manager's system at this point, and he'll be able to get results in random situations that maybe we thought he wouldn't be able to. So I like them around 11th. So I'm gonna put them right there, Crystal Palace. Now maybe this is a bit shocking to some, but I'm gonna say Everton actually ends up 10th this year. Um, I think that David Moyes, once he left the club, Everton, where he kind of started and got his name, he has been to different clubs, and I think he's kind of learned, different ways to coach and different ways to set up the team. Because, or maybe it was because he replaced Sean Dyche, but it seemed to me like he has a new lease on life as far as coaching is concerned, because much more expansive, much more ball possession based, not just playing a bunker counter attacking style, moving into the 21st century a little bit. And I think he's added some players in this summer, Grealish, among others, that I think is going to help him to even express himself even more. And I think they have a solid defense, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Pickford, Mikolenko, they have a good defense. So I just feel like they'll be able to eke out some results as well, and they'll be a hard team to beat, So Everton, I'm going to say shockingly, they made the top 10 after looking like relegation was headed their way last year for most of it, right? Now we're moving to the top 10 with Everton. Now let's move to number 9. I'm going to say number 9 this season. I'm going to go for Nottingham Forest. I think they did excellent to get where they did last season. Just tapered off at the end, which was to be expected, but I think they will stay in and around that top 10, probably challenge for the top 6, 7, 8 places and stuff. But in the end, I think they fall just short at 9 this season. So we have 8 more teams to go. We're getting into the potentially some European Conference League spots and whatnot. So let's see. So the next team up, people, I'm gonna go with a team, and I'm basing this a lot on what I think is gonna happen before the window closes. I'm gonna say that Newcastle will be in 8th position this season. We have to remember as well, they will have Champions League to play, more legs, more games. I don't think the depth has been addressed enough going into this season, and I still think they're going to lose their best player, Isak, before the window closes. So Newcastle for me, 8th spot in the table. All right, next, I'm going to go to 7th position, and I am going to put Aston Villa in 7th position, people. Aston Villa. And the reason why I'm going to put, actually, no, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to put Tottenham in 7th position. Tottenham in 7th position. And the reason why I'm going to put Tottenham there is because I just think they're going to have a different like energy this season. New manager. They have a trophy in the bag. Maybe the fans might not be so happy with the transfer window, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think Thomas Frank is actually the right kind of manager for Tottenham, because I don't think Thomas Frank lets too much get to him. Like, he's not gonna get too high, he's not gonna get too low if they lose. He's not gonna, create that many sound bites, and he's not gonna get in his feelings. I don't think. I think he has a good temperament for that type of fan base and how it's gonna be. So I just think he's gonna just steady them to that type of a finish. I think you've seen him challenge for top 6, top 7, top 8, top 9, top 10 with Brentford's type of talent and finances and club. You put him in Tottenham's environment, obviously a much bigger club, much more finances, nicer facilities, all of that. I just think it's gonna play out in that, he's in and around it. I don't think he'll quite get all the way there. And that's why I have them around 7th. So yeah, and I'm gonna put Aston Villa actually at 6th, which could surprise some, because I have not gotten to a club as yet that people might think should be higher than this. But I'm going to put Aston Villa at 6th. I think they probably have some more moves to make in the window that could change that. But for right now, I'm going to say 6 now. They have no defense, people, I know. And I just beat them. Goalkeeper is a problem. But I'm going to be honest, people. I think Manchester United are going to jump from 15th to 5th. I hate to say it, but I think they're going to jump from 15th to about 5th. They're going to jump from 15th to about 5th. Yeah, they're going to jump from 15th to 5th, people. Brantwaite is out for the season. Oh, my God. That changes things, man. Even though, might as well find a next centre back and put with Tarkowski, man. Yeah, man. Them are going to have a next goalkeeper, man. Onana won't start the whole season. Man, I don't know, brother. Man, them never really stay that far down long, brother. I just maybe I'm giving the club itself too much credit. But the fact that they could get these players, I'm shocked. And their attack is going to be a lot better because the 3 players they got are good. So yeah, I'm putting them 5th, people. Might be a madness, but I just have this feeling like they're gonna come that place, I'm going Chelsea 4th. I'm going Chelsea 4th. I like a lot of the moves they made. Now, our top 3 is the sticking point for me now. I'm going to be totally honest with you, people. I'm an Arsenal fan. But I don't know, man. I do not. Until this manager show me otherwise, I don't think he's going to get us over the line. I really don't. I think Man City will finish 3rd, though. I know that they have addressed a lot of areas, the attacking areas mainly. I still feel like they're light in the defensive areas, though, Man City. And I think that's going to cost them the league this year. I really do. I'm going Arsenal 2nd, people. I hate to say it. I'm going Arsenal 2nd. And I think Liverpool lifts the trophy again. Liverpool have their issues in defense. I don't think they have the depth required to go through this full season. But I think they'll make adjustments before the window closes. They'll bring in more defenders. I think they have 2 coming in now that they're heavily linked to. So yeah, I think that they will make the steps. You know what I'm saying? They will make the steps. But yeah, picking Liverpool to win the league, people, it pains me to say it. But I just feel like Arsenal are gonna fall short again, man. I feel like Arsenal are gonna fall short again. And I don't until Arteta proves that he can go through the season and navigate the squad and do what he needs to do, I don't think he's gonna pull it out. I really don't. I really don't think that they're gonna win, man. So Liverpool 1st, Arsenal 2nd, Man City 3rd, Chelsea 4th. A madness pick, but Man United 5th, Aston Villa 6th, Tottenham 7th, Newcastle 8th, Forest 9th, Everton 10th, another mad pick, Crystal Palace 11th, Bournemouth 12th, Fulham 13th, West Ham 14th, Brighton 15th, Wolves 16th, Sunderland 17th, Brentford 18th, Leeds 19th, and Burnley in 20th. That is what I am going with, people. But damn, Tarkowski out for the season. If that's true, I might as well put the thumbnail out from now for the season preview show after the window close. But Jared Brantwaite is not even listed as injured anywhere, so whatever happened, it wasn't that bad. What Conrad say? One Barca. All right, so people, before we head out, let's have a couple of things that I want to say. First and foremost, big up to a lot of you who must say constantly put their stuff in the comment section. If you did not watch the show, please do. No, I'm not showing you that. No ideas from me. Go out there to the FPL experts and look at their teams. Sorry. That tells me that the manager ain't ready, because I think Arsenal have the squad that could potentially win this league, but I just don't trust the manager. And if it's between, if that's the tiebreaker, I trust the other managers around me way more, especially Slot and Pep. Hell, at this point, I trust Maresca more. You know. Yeah, Eros, it's he's nailed on, man. He's nailed on. He's rooted in there. It's gonna take a lot. I think it'd have to be a disaster like a 15th or 10th or Other than that, I think he's there. But look, every manager who never got over the line, at some point, he never got over the line. The problem is it's becoming, 5, 6 seasons now. It's like, okay, is this what you are, or you just needed this experience to be able to do it now? I can't really rest on that forever. It's been what? This is the 5th. It's going into the 6th full season. So, yeah, I don't know. Can't really say that much longer. All right, people. So, player of the season, player of the season, player of the season, player of the season, people. So, my player of the season for the season. You see who I have winning the title. So, my player of the season for me, I believe it's going to be surprise, surprise, Mohamed Salah. Golden Boot winner. I don't think Salah gets it this time. I believe Haaland reclaims that crown. Young player of the season. Young player of the season, which to me this I think they, as long as you're I think 20 under 23 or 22 and younger, I believe you can win this award. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say something like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I feel like that's what it go though. All right, so young player of the season. I mean, Cole Palmer would still be in the runnings for that. So that's a nice, easy choice there. I think Vert's too old now. All right, so young player of the season, I'm gonna go with Morgan Rogers. And the last thing, I wanted to just say, for me, the manager that I think is under threat to get sacked first is actually, sad to say, Scott Parker. It's happened before. It's happened before. It's happened before with Scott Parker managing a team in the Prem and getting sacked before, first, I think. And I think he's probably the most likely again. So manager sacked first. My vote goes to Scott Parker of Burnley. An honorable mention, Keith Andrews at Brentford as well. Keith Andrews at Brentford, but I think Parker might beat him to it. But I'll put Andrews as a second option. But yeah, people, This has been what, 2.5 hours. Great content. I fully thoroughly enjoyed bringing you this content today. I tried to do the table predictor on screen, but we had a massive mess up there. But we have it documented in the big book. I do have you guys' selections. I will try to get WeMax its own, and I need the relegated teams of a few people. And of course, if you're watching this on the replay, ERAS as well, you're more than welcome, bro. You can leave a comment in the comment section now, or when the video is over, you can drop a comment and just put your top 5 for the season and your relegated teams. I've documented a whole bunch of the subscribers and the family today, just so we can revisit it when the season is finished and see who and who had their crystal ball working. Now, people, it's 2:30 now. I have 2 drafts today, people, 2 fantasy drafts. So not the FPL game where you pick, everybody have the same team. This is a draft where obviously you only get the players that you can get. So only one person get Holland, one person get Gyökeres, vice versa, all the way through. So Moss Sports World is in the chat. Big up to Moss Sports World, invited me to play. This is his fantasy draft league. The draft is in about 3.5 hours. So man's about to eat some food, continue to, obviously we don't really need to do so much research because we've been researching, but we just want to look at some final things, do some mock draft and kind of see how it can play out. And yeah, we'll be ready. And then I have another one tonight at I think 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, one of the two. So we have fantasy drafts going on, people, today. And then tomorrow now, we have the original fantasy draft with my family at 8 o'clock. But look out tomorrow, people, because tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow, during the day, we're going to have a show doing the preview for the first week. Probably around the same time we did the show today. So around midday my time tomorrow. Look out for some more content where we'll do the weekly predictions, get back in the groove of that first week of the season. We have the kickoff on Friday, of course, so we want to get the preview for the weekend in on Thursday. So we'll do that tomorrow. Trying to do it around the same time in the afternoon before training for Julie in the evening. All right. So, people, once again, massive respect to you a lot. We are back almost into the full groove. It's 2:30 now, so I'm gonna go watch some EPL Cup. Watch the Super Cup as well at 3 o'clock, PSG and Tottenham. So yeah, football to be watched. So we're going to watch it. We're going to do some prepping for the drafts as well. So people, respect to each and every one of you who passed through. Eras gave me the like total at 41. We greatly appreciate you guys for the 41 likes. Anybody who stayed the whole time there, we greatly appreciate the engagement. Wasn't able to, had a lot of info to get through today, so it wasn't really my normal style of really following the comment section. So I really apologize to all of you for that today. Couldn't really figure out a better way to do it and really get the information out to you. I really like to, tell you guys how I see it and what I got going on. So just understand that the preview tomorrow, that show will be a lot more interactive because we'll be talking about the games and the results and what we think will happen. So we'll definitely be talking much more with the comment section. And of course, each week when the Premier League week has ended, we have the review show where we talk about the, obviously we'll go through all the games, so we'll talk about the major talking points, maybe ref decisions, anything that's really, what was the big talking points from my perspective, right? So yeah, man. And big up to Next Up Sports as well in the building. Big up yourself each and every time, bro. I see you putting in the work, keeping us aware of what's going on and counting us down to the Jamaica Reggae Boys. Yeah, man. Respect for your hard work in the space, and people do like, share, and subscribe to man's content. Big up to Mass World as well. Gooner by heart, but covers all sports. Canadian, he's a Canuck people. So he does the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, MLB, the man no miss a sport people. And look out for his show as well. I think he's doing a draft show while we draft at 6 o'clock. So if you guys interested in seeing how a fantasy draft goes on the draft side of things, you can tune in there and see how the draft goes. Maybe it will make you want to play. I'm in 3 draft leagues, and I have to pick my FPL team basically before Friday. And I have a few that I'm going to join there as well. So, yeah, man, you will see the fantasy team in due time, Eddie Gooner, but not right now. All right. But big up to each and every one of you. Thanks again for the support. All the people that dropped their predictions, we greatly appreciate it. Remember, tomorrow we'll be back with the weekly preview show. Similar format, but we're gonna go deeper into the actual matchups and go ahead and pick game by game what we think the final score will be in those games, and we'll document them, and we'll go from there, and we'll pick a champion for the week and a donkey of the week if you have the worst damn picks. All right, so yes, if you are a fan and a member of the family here, then you know how the program will run, and we won't change something if it's working, people. So we will do our prediction show tomorrow, and look out for that. Should be around the same time during the day. So I'll make the thumbnail at some point today, put it out so you guys can see it. Drop a like on it. On your way out, please do drop a like as well. Consider subscribing if it's your first time here. We just talk football. We love football. We have a lot of fans in the community that love football as well. And it's just one big football conversation, people. So if you love football, you love talking about it, you love analyzing it, you love breaking it down, Jason Gooner TV is a place that you will definitely enjoy being. All right. So big up. Thanks again. Like I said, people, if you didn't take part live in the predictions, we have a top 5 prediction list and a relegation list. Please do in the comment section. If you're watching this on the replay, please drop your top 5 and your relegation. I will drop it in the season predictor so that later on we can revisit what people had to say and see who had sense and who was a madman. All right, people, but big up. Sad to say, people, we will be seeing this sign a lot, but we won't be seeing Arsenal lift the goddamn Premier League trophy, at least in my humble opinion, people. Arsenal proved me wrong. Until next time, people, I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. Come on, you Gooners, prove me wrong.